Hello, welcome to Comic Book Movie Report. I am Chad Miller, and today I'm going to be discussing a very spoiler-heavy review of X-Men Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut. Now, normally I don't go for extended cuts or director's cuts of films because I love movies the way that they are presented to the public originally. Now, the only exception I have with that is Daredevil, 20th Century Fox's comic book movie adaptation of The Man Without Fear starring Ben Affleck. That became a director's cut, and I found it to be far better of a film than the original theatrical cut. Still not a great movie by any means, but certainly better than the original. So, with X-Men Days of Future Past, we have this Rogue Cut, which is an extended version of the original theatrical release. In rewatching the original X-Men Days of Future Past, I was gleaning for insights as far as what could possibly change with a Rogue cut. Now, it was mentioned that Rogue was initially cut from the film as it didn't service the overall story. In watching the Rogue cut, I found that it was actually pretty decent and didn't really see why it couldn't be that way aside the length of time. So here I will go ahead and dissect the ins and outs of X-Men Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut, and see what you all think about the changes made to this film. The very first thing that I really enjoyed about this cut of the film was that the future X-Men were featured a little bit more heavily. They gave more character and kind of gave a little bit more insight to each of the future X-Men. There was a shrine that was built to the fallen heroes, I believe, as you could probably assume, and I thought that was a good touch as well. It really brought a little bit more depth to the feeling of the characters because you actually really got a chance to care about them a little bit. So when they are destroyed by the evil vagina-based sentinels of the future, yes, I went there, it kind of resonates with you a little bit more instead of just, sideline characters that really didn't have much depth. I mean, you still have, your set characters as far as Iceman and Storm and things like that, and Colossus even. And you also get to see that the romance between Iceman and Kitty Pryde had actually gone further into the future as well. That was a nice little touch that I thought that they added. So when Wolverine gets sent to the past, we obviously have him waking up in the arms of some woman that he is trying to protect. And that does get extended a little bit as far as Wolverine's ferocity and animal-like instincts and his bone claws. So that was a cute little touch, and it also kind of helped to expound on the setting of the time frame. It was clearly after the Vietnam War. You get a few little more glimpses into that aspect of the film. Also, with this cut, you get a little bit more of past Xavier's disillusion and what has drove him to this point in the film. And I thought that was a great touch. It was a great touch in the original cut of the film. I like this. You get to get a little bit deeper in there, not tremendously, but a little bit deeper. So you kind of really get to grasp Xavier's pain and his sense of loss and the reasons why he is choosing to kind of give up on life as he knows it. Also, with this cut of the film, you get a little bit deeper into the character of Quicksilver. He obviously was a great inclusion to the original cut of X-Men Days of Future Past, and clearly gives you one of the best scenes ever in comic book movie films. Also, the chess scene between Xavier and Magneto in the past was extended a little bit, and it is always a wonderful throwback to the original films. It's one of those key components that just makes the X-Men franchise what it is, especially in regards to the relationships between Xavier and Magneto. So that was a nice touch. I really liked that they went in and kind of added that into it a little bit further and give you a little bit more depth as far as the building of this great relationship between these two characters. I couldn't remember if it was included in the original cut. I might have to go back, but when President Nixon drops the F-bomb, I loved that. Also, when past Xavier goes into Wolverine's mind and sees glimpses of the future that is going to be happening, wonderful allusions to Wolverine's relationship with Jean Grey, which are fantastic. One of my favorite moments of the film in its original cut. Glad to see it was still there. And then Xavier from the past gets a bit of an exchange with future Xavier, which was a great scene in the original cut of the film. It is expounded on in this cut, and I thought remarkably done. It was a very good touchstone moment for the feels of what the character is represented as from the past to the future. Great chance for the two actors to seamlessly bond together and form a great bridging of this wonderful character. And in the future, this is our first allusion to Rogue, and we realize that she is being held captive, and it is a great reveal. It's taken over half the movie to get to this point, which I found to be very frustrating, but the surprise of where Rogue is and what they have to do to get her is pretty astounding, and I thought a great touch. In the past, there is a wonderful scene between Beast and Wolverine that was... Some of the lines were taken and used in a different aspect of the film. The scene in which Beast confronts Wolverine and asks if he makes it in the future is interpreted differently, and then alludes to Beast and Raven having a remarkable scene, a very remarkable scene, in which they sort of reunite and rekindle their romance, and the simple ferocity of their attraction to each other and what happens, and it was a great moment, and I truly am excited that they included this, because it was a great moment for those two characters to interact the way that they did, and I thought it was a phenomenal aspect of this cut. The rescue of Rogue. Rogue is being held in what was formerly the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, Higher Learning, however it is Gifted Youngsters in the film. And it has basically been overrun by the Sentinel program. I thought that was a great touch, and Rogue is being held in Cerebro, so it is up to Magneto and Iceman to rescue her, with Xavier flying the X-Jet. It is a wonderful scene. To see older Magneto really get into the fight was phenomenal and fantastic. I loved it. And then Iceman bites the dust in a very touching scene, and you get to see Rogue's reaction, because they obviously were an item in the past, so it does affect her, and I like that touch. Action. In the future, Rogue arrives to help the wounded and ailing Kitty Pryde. She shows up, gives Kitty the news about Bobby's death, which incites a brilliant reaction, and then Rogue assumes Kitty's powers and takes over for her, in keeping Wolverine grounded in the past. In the past, one of the wonderful scenes that I really loved about the theatrical cut, which is still included in the Rogue cut, is when Wolverine pleads to Xavier to find Storm, Cyclops, and Jean. I thought that was a wonderful aspect, a good throwback to the original trilogy, and which also sets the pace for the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse movie, in which all three of those characters are featured, and as younger versions of themselves, and really pays homage to the original movies. And I think that's one of the greatest things that has really been brought forth with this film, is giving light to the original set and those characters, and I love that. It's still here in this cut. Fantastic. In the past, there were a couple new sequences that are included in the Rogue cut that I found to be tremendously wonderful. Wolverine goes through a metal detector, and for the very first time, it doesn't get set off, because obviously he does not have his metal bones at this point in time. So I thought that was a very nice touch to the character and to the original series, as well as the extended scene at the end of the Wolverine. Also, there is a scene in which Xavier has a discussion with a veteran from the Vietnam War that I thought was a very nice Very nice scene that also not only furthers the character of Charles Xavier, but also pays homage to the heroes of the war. Also, in the past, there is an extended scene of Magneto's destruction of the stadium that he eventually elevates and puts around the White House. I thought it was a great display to show Magneto's powers. It was fantastically done. I liked it and wish it could have been part of the original cut. Obviously, it wasn't. In the future X-Men are getting ready to face off against the evil vagina-faced Sentinels again, and it is an extended sequence that features a little bit more heavily with Magneto and Storm. Obviously, everybody meets their demise as they did in the original film, but also gives a greater sense of depth with this extended sequence, which I always find to be rewarding because you do care about these characters, and it certainly was felt in the original film, but because it's extended, it just brought more gravitas in action. In the future, as Rogue is keeping Wolverine grounded in the past, there is a moment where she looks down to Wolverine's extended claws, and I felt it was a really good scene because it really reminded me that, and you saw it in Anna Paquin's face, that she looked at those things terrifyingly, and it was a great, great touch to the original film where Wolverine actually does stab Rogue through the chest, and it was, you didn't even have to say anything about that. You could just see it on her face, and I thought that was a great touch. So by the end of the film, everything eventually happens the way it happens in the original film. There isn't anything that really deviates from the original cut of the film to give you any sort of, difference as far as the outcome of what actually happens. Obviously, the actions do alter the timeline, and you get the future glimpse of how everything is now right with the world, and Jean is there, Cyclops is there, Beast is there, and that's such a great scene for me. I've been a fan of Jean Grey pretty much my whole life, and to have that character realized back into the timeline because she was treated so horribly in X-Men The Last Stand, is a very, very sentimental touch for me. So watching that scene over and over again, I still get very misty. And, having Cyclops back as well, with the original actors, Famke Janssen and James Marsden. So having that scene set into place obviously gives, a great hurrah and happiness that, everything is set back to where it needs to be. So, with this new cut of the film, we also get another extended sequence in the end credits, and it is back to the Pentagon, back to the prison where Magneto was held, and instead of Magneto being there, it is Boulevard Trask. I'm not sure what that is going to set up. If it does set up anything for future films, we don't know, but it is a fun little scene to actually see and kind of poke fun at. So that is my review of the Rogue cut of X-Men Days of Future Past. I think it served the story definitely very well. Obviously, it's a much lengthier film, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of this extended version of the film. If you think that Anna Paquin's Rogue should have been left in. Overall, she didn't really have much to do, but it was great to see her in the role, and all the little nods that it represented to the original trilogy. So tell us what you think. I would be interested in hearing your opinions in the comments below. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like our parent page, Film Geek Maniac, on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube as well. I appreciate you watching, and hopefully you gleaned some information out of this, and look forward to future episodes of Comic Book Movie Report coming soon. Thank you.